Hello and welcome to my channel CD Matt. Today I will be showing a rare NASA meter radiation detector in this box. But first I want to just show you my collection here. So from the left to the right. Okay, now this center section, this is the main collection that I was trying to put together of the different radiation detectors that were used from the 50s to the 60s for civil defense. And while searching forever for this one, the SID-1, made by Eltronics, CD, Civil Defense, same as CD Matt, it took me about 11 years to finally find one of these meters for auction or sale. It was auction. And so while I was looking for this collection, to complete this collection, I ended up kind of getting out of hand and buying all these things. Now, I'm going to show you just a couple other meters before I show you this one. This is a prototype, CDV 710. These are 710s here. So this was a prototype probably around 1952. And here is another, this is a CDV 700 prototype, Geiger counter, around 1952 also. I've shown these in other videos. I'm just showing you these because they're prototypes, and here's another prototype, Alpha meter. It's a low serial number, 15. I just assumed that this meter in the box was a prototype. Now at first when I first saw it for sale on eBay, 6.5 years ago now, I thought it was a movie prop because it looked like a fake thing. It didn't make any sense. Impractical. It's certainly not square or a rectangle like most of the meters are. And then when I saw the sticker on the bottom where it says radiation survey meter, it has a name on it, and that name is a well-known name. And that's when I said, okay, it must be a prototype. And I said, well, I'll just stick another prototype on the wall. And so I bought it. And when I got it, it sat in the corner over here for 3.5 years before I finally went to the internet to look it up. And I punched in radiation survey meter, and like 500 pictures came up, but only like 3 pictures of this meter. It took a few minutes to go through the pictures, and I saw it. And I was looking at the pictures, and one of the pictures had a button on it to find for more information. So I clicked on that because obviously that's what I was wanting, more information. And it took me to a website, the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum website. So when I saw that website, it kind of opened my eyes up. And then under that, it had 4 words. 3 of them were radiation survey meter. The first word in the line was Apollo radiation survey meter. So this meter was used for Apollo missions. They also transferred the use of these over to Skylab later on. Now, I ended up making this case 6 months after I found out what this was, so I wouldn't touch it. And these are actually the batteries. It came with these batteries still in it. They're 5.4 volt. Made by Mallory. They're mercury cells, so I keep them double bagged. They're not leaking, but just in case they leak, I figured I'd stick them in bags. Now this meter, I made this about 6 months after I found out what this was. I made this container to put it in to keep my fingers off it, and then I had it on a shelf for maybe a week or 2, and I bought this box, and I basically kept it locked up ever since because I figured if this thing went to the moon, it's worth a lot of money. Now, I don't know how this thing ever got out in the, I always say the real world. A lot of stuff was scrapped by NASA in the 70s. They also sold off all kinds of stuff over the years in auctions. And of course, a piece here or there went home with an astronaut, maybe somebody else working at NASA an engineer or something, who knows. You know, so much stuff is out there that came home with people because they had keepsakes. Most of the paperwork seemed to do that. This container I made out of, I don't know if this is plexiglass or acrylic. It's cracked over time. I made it 3 years ago, so I guess I made the screws a little too tight. And let's see if I can get it open here. Yeah, so anyway, I really don't know how this ended up. Maybe it was you know, an astronaut passed away and their kid found it and they stuck it on eBay just to sell it off because they had no clue of what it was. I don't know how it got there. All I know is I bought it one day. This is a NASA Apollo radiation survey meter. Now they used these, they had these, well they were, let me put these up. I have some photos here. These are press photos of the radiation, you know, the Van Allen belt. They were afraid of going through the Van Allen belt because it's so high radiation and everything. Plus radiation going all the way to the moon. And then on the moon, they actually had one of these mounted next to the GNN panel here, the guidance and navigation panel with the sextant and telescope are. So there's one, you can see it right on top of the head of the astronaut, right there. Now I'm covering these because I don't know if there's any copyright issues to some of these photos. There are different astronauts in these photos, and I don't know if they have rights or not. This is on Skylab. There's an astronaut inside of inside the tube. This was for the shower. This was the shower tube. They would pull this collapsible tube up, hook it to the top, and they could take showers in there. This is the bicycle that they would be riding on for exercise. So next to, on the opposite side, on the bulkhead, was one of these meters mounted. I don't know if they used more than one on Skylab. It's pretty big. Skylab was pretty big. I assume they had more than one up there, but I really don't know. This is a color picture, same tube here. There's another guy in there. And you can see it a little bit better, this picture of the meter. So anyway, these meters, they had them, they would have one inside the command module, and they could just leave it running the whole time. And they also had one stowed away in the LEM so that they could check the radiation while they were also on the moon. So they would have 2 meters with them on every flight, at least, if you want to call it a flight. From Apollo 11 to Apollo 17, they would have taken 2 with them. I'm not sure about Apollo 10. They did not land on the planet, I mean on the moon, but they did, you know, they did do orbiting around it. So I assume they may have had a meter with them just to check for radiation while they were out, you know, in the LEM. Now I know I've seen footage of Apollo 8. Apollo 8 is the first time I've seen one of these meters mounted next to the guidance and navigation panel. The astronaut, and that's one of the things, when I saw this, it made no sense. Why would they make something like this? But if you're an astronaut and you've got a big fat glove on, you can't hold on to a regular meter. You got to hold on to something that you just grab, and that makes sense. And so to turn it on, you would turn the snubber off. The snubber is basically like a brake. It just lifts basically like a piece of piano wire against the back of the needle. Because if this didn't have that, you see how maybe you can see the needle. If this was in a rocket, this meter would be beat to heck, and it wouldn't maybe not work by the time you got to space. So they had this brake on it. It keeps it locked so the needle can't move, and you can unlock it either way. So off is unlock. So you would turn it to the off position, and then you would rotate this to turn the unit on. There are reed switches in here. There's a magnet in this thing, this rotor, and that's how they use it. They turn it on with reed switches. And of course, this is the ion chamber, or what are they going to call this? And you just point it, check radiation. This does rads per hour. Oh, the bottom You can see the bottom. It was made by General Dynamics, 1969. This was made about a month after the Apollo 11 moon landing. Serial number 21 or 021. Part number, radiation survey meter. See, if this had said Apollo on it, I would have known what it was. Actually, I probably wouldn't, because I remember when I looked at this, you know, it has the pop-ups on eBay that says so many people had looked at it. Well, I remember it was 3 or 4 people looked at this before I did. If it said Apollo, they would have known what it was and they would have bought it, and it wouldn't be in my collection. So anyway, that is an Apollo radiation survey meter, possibly used in space. I've never bothered to find out. I just keep it locked up all the time. I never even look at it. And I don't know, that's about it, I guess. I can guarantee you Steve Jurvetson out in California, who has a massive Apollo collection. It's just an incredible collection he has. He would love this. This is the only space thing I have, other than, I think I have a coin over here. Yeah, I have an Apollo 8. An Apollo 8 coin. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm more atomic. I'm an atomic collector. This just happened to be a radiation detector that I saw and decided to purchase it, and now it stays locked up all the time. Okay, well, take care out there. Bye.